Add a burst of confetti to any project using the brush tool in Photoshop or Photoshop Elements. This video is being filmed in expert mode of Photoshop Elements, but the instructions are exactly the same for Photoshop except where noted. The first thing we need to do is prepare the workspace. So open the DST envelope burst template.psd file from the downloads. Then in the Layers panel, click to toggle open the envelope group. In the Layers panel, click on the envelope flap layer to activate it. Now in the Layers panel, click on the Create a New Layer icon, and then click on the foreground color chip to open the color picker. In the color picker, choose a medium gray color, and then click OK. Next, we need to create the first style of confetti that's going to be bursting out of the envelope. So let's get the brush tool. In the tool options, open the brush picker, and in the drop-down menu, choose Default Brushes, then choose a hard round brush. Set the size to 80 pixels, and then set the opacity to 100%. Then click on the Brush Settings option. Then we are going to set the fade to 0. We'll set the hue jitter to 0%, the scatter to 100%, and the spacing to 1000%. And we'll leave the hardness and roundness at 100% as well. Photoshop users, please see the manual for specific instructions, as the settings Photoshop users will use are slightly different from this. Now on the document, place your mouse over the envelope area, and we're going to click and drag to create confetti. Make sure to include some confetti that looks like it's spilling out of the envelope. So just keep brushing until you get enough. That looks pretty good. Now, if you end up getting some confetti in areas that you don't want, you can do the following. So get the elliptical marquee tool, and in the tool options, we're going to click on the new selection icon. We're going to check anti-aliasing, set the feather to 0, and set the aspect to normal. For Photoshop users, set the style to normal. Then on the document, click and drag a selection around the pieces you wish to remove. To reposition while dragging, press and hold the spacebar. Then once the selection is in place, press the backspace key in Windows or the delete key on a Mac to remove the pieces. Then press Ctrl D in Windows or Command D on a Mac to deselect. And you can repeat this removal process as many times as you need. Next, we need to add a drop shadow to this layer. So in the menu bar, choose Layer, Layer Style, Style Settings. Photoshop users, please see the manual for specific instructions. Now in the dialog box, set the lighting angle to 120 degrees, then click directly on the word drop shadow to open the settings. Set the size to 5, set the distance to 8, and set the opacity to 50%. Now you can click OK to close the Style Settings dialog box. Now we're going to create confetti style number 2. So in the Layers panel, click on the Create a New Layer icon. Then click on the foreground color chip to open the color picker. And in the color picker, we're going to choose a dark gray color. Once you've done that, you can click OK. Now get the brush tool, and in the tool options, click to open the brush picker, open the drop-down menu and choose Assorted Brushes, then choose the Circle 4 brush. Set the size to 80 pixels, set the opacity to 100%, and then click on the Brush Settings icon, and we're going to leave the fade at 0, the hue jitter at 0, the scatter to 100%, the spacing to 1000%, and we'll leave the roundness set to 100%. Photoshop users, please see the manual for specific instructions, as again, they are slightly different from this. Then on the document, click and drag to create a second set of confetti. Again, we want to make sure it looks like it's spilling out of the envelope. And again, if any of the pieces of the new confetti end up in a place you don't like, we're going to follow the same steps as we did before to remove those pieces. So I'm going to do that now. So now in the Layers panel, hold down the Alt key in Windows or the Option key on a Mac, and click and drag on the style icon of the first confetti layer and drag it to the second confetti layer to copy the drop shadow to the new confetti layer. At this point, the template is complete. You can save the document as a layered PSD file with a unique name. I'm naming mine DST Envelope Burst Template Complete.psd. Once the template is complete, you can use it to create a scrapbook page. It's a good idea to duplicate the template before working with it so that you don't accidentally overwrite it. To do that, in the menu bar, choose File, Duplicate. Photoshop users will choose Image Duplicate, and then in the dialog box you can click OK. Once you've done that, you can close the original template file. Here's how I used the template to make a page about my nephew's first birthday. I love how the bursting envelope helps add to the party theme here. If you decide to clip a patterned paper to the whole circle confetti, just make sure the pattern is small in scale or it will be hard to see. And because the circle hoop confetti is pretty thin, make sure to use a solid paper for clipping to that layer. A darker color will be easier to see on a light background, and a light color will be easier to see on a medium to dark background. For a free PDF version of this video, click on the download link and then make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. This has been Jennifer Juris from Digital Scrapper, the very best place on the web to find complete and professional instruction for digital scrapbooking. We help you get your stories told.